writing this because I genuinely don't know how else to bleed this pain out of me. I want to scream until my ribs crack. I want to throw something through a mirror and watch myself shatter into someone I don't recognize. I was a fool, a hopeful, hopeless fool. I'm a 29-year-old trans woman. I transitioned in my early 20s. I've had years to understand what love feels like when it's real and what it feels like when it's performative. When someone dates you just to check a box or to get off on the trans fantasy without ever seeing your soul. But Riley? I thought Riley saw my soul. We met at an open mic. I was reading poetry about dysphoria, self-acceptance, and love. She listened like I was the only person in the room. She came up to me after with that wide, chaotic smile of hers and said, "You made my chest hurt in a good way." It started like a movie. We went on one date, then 3. Then we were spending every weekend together. Then she had a drawer in my apartment. Then she knew where I kept my anti-anxiety meds and would hand them to me without asking when she saw me shaking. She told me she'd never met anyone like me, that I made her feel safe, that I made her feel, period. At 3 months, she told me she loved me, whispered it like a secret on my shoulder while we lay in bed. But at 3.5 months, her ex entered the picture. It was just a text at first. We were watching The Handmaid's Tale. Her phone lit up. She went pale. The name said, "Jax, do not answer." She ignored it. I asked, gently, "Who's Jax?" She exhaled, slowly, then told me everything. According to Riley, Jax was her ex of 3 years, a manipulative narcissist who isolated her from friends, emotionally blackmailed her, and once threw a wine glass at her head during a fight. She claimed she had a restraining order against him, but it had expired. Her dad supposedly had to pull a gun on Jax to get him out of their house once. I was stunned. I told her I was here, that she was safe now, that Jax couldn't touch her anymore. She cried in my arms that night, shaking so hard it scared me. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? But the texts didn't stop. He started emailing her, making burner social accounts to DM her. She said she blocked him everywhere, but kept one number open in case she needed evidence for court. I was concerned, but she swore she was done with him. Then one night, I was staying over at her apartment. Around 1 a.m., someone started banging on her front door, like they were trying to break it down. We froze. Then came the shouting. "I know you're in there with him." "Come out here. Let's finish this." My blood ran cold. My blood ran cold. She was crying, hiding in the bedroom. I stayed near the door, calling the police with my voice shaking. He left before they arrived, but that was the night something broke between us. Not because of the fear, but because of what happened after. The next day, Riley told me she needed space. She said it was too much, that she needed to close the chapter with Jax properly, that he was unstable and any aggression from me might make things worse. I asked her what she meant by properly. She wouldn't answer. She ghosted me for 2 days. On the third, I went by her place, worried sick. I still had the spare key she gave me. Her car was outside. I let myself in. The second I walked in, I saw his shoes in the hallway. I saw his hoodie on the couch. I walked in on Riley, sitting on her bed, wrapped in a blanket. She looked like she'd been crying for hours, and Jax, that walking nightmare, was in her kitchen, drinking from my favorite mug, like he owned the place. She looked at me like I was the problem. I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I just looked at her and said, I hope he was worth it. Then I left. She didn't chase me, not that day. But 2 weeks later, she started sending messages. I messed up. He threatened to hurt himself. I knew this happened to many people, but coming from an Indian family, I didn't think this would happen us. Never mind that. My dad dropped a bomb on me that I have an alleged half-brother. I cried on the plane. Told my mom. She said she knew because after the arranged marriage, he told her on the train back home 20 years ago, the same way he did with me on the flight. I'm an only child. Everything made me sick. I cried and cried on the plane. Now this is a whole other bullcrap of a story. Keep in mind, this is not the same woman he is talking to. Before the plane incident, I already saw him texting a person quite oddly. Now it's been happening again. So I connected the dots from the texts over the past 2 weeks. I put together that this is one of my parents' friend. Her daughter is in my school, a year older. We've known each other for a while since kids, but never talked. I feel sick to my stomach. I'm also in a toxic relationship now, and I have absolutely no one to talk to. What the hell do I do? Do I confront my dad? Or tell my mom? My father was the only man I trusted in my life, and he gave me the world. But I guess it was just because he was guilty. I've been with my GF for almost 2 years. She was cheated on in all her previous relationships. Note that she has never met up in real life with any of her exes. They live countries apart. She has no friends whatsoever outside of the relationship as well. Absolutely no one. She's been out of school now, plus does not have work currently. She carried over toxic behaviors in the beginning. We would argue, and she would block me. Happened twice. as a way of breaking up, and she would text her exes. She would even go flirt and tell one of them she missed them. I texted my ex once around this time, but no flirting was involved. When we talk again, they are all blocked. She stopped, and we had a good relationship for 8 months. I broke up with her due to trust issues, no cheating. I told her we were completely done. I have a therapist for this now. Then she texted another different ex right after, and they were flirting. I texted her, breaking no contact. She blocked him immediately. She does this because she does not want to grieve the relationship alone, so she rather contacts an already established connection so she would be distracted from the sadness. She also texts them because my genuine love was foreign to her, so she's okay with texting a previous cheaters, but she's aware what she's doing is unhealthy. She knows how much of an unhealthy attachment she has. She said she would do anything for us to stay together, and she has been getting therapy for 3 months. I am unsure what to do with her. She's been taking initiatives to be on medications as well. I've never felt connection like this compared to any of my previous relationships. That's why I am willing to fight for it. I've been with my boyfriend for 2 years. Recently, I found out he has a porn addiction. He follows girls online, lusts over them, and even saves pictures of them on his phone. It broke me. Since then, I haven't been the same. I feel so insecure. I look nothing like the girls he's into. Now, I can't even believe his compliments, they feel fake. I keep thinking, if I'm what he wants, why does he need all that? I don't want to be paranoid forever. I don't want to keep wondering who he's looking at online, or if I'll ever be enough in his eyes. But I also don't want to walk away from someone I love. If there's truly hope for change, I'm stuck. Can people with this kind of issue really change? Is it possible to rebuild trust and security after this kind of betrayal? Or am I clinging to a fantasy, hoping he'll become someone he's not? I've been dating my boyfriend for a short period, about 3-ish months, so it's nothing too serious at this point. Still, I've been noticing some behaviors that seem deliberately aimed at making me jealous or gain a reaction from me. He's actually expressed before that he wants me to be more jealous, but I'm just not naturally that way, and that seems to bother him. Here are some examples of what I've been experiencing. He talks to other women online and leaves me on read during those interactions. He also complains that I don't talk to him enough, even though I'm always the one initiating our conversations. So, he's made jokes like, "You better step up your game. Female friend might steal me from you." I've told him I don't find that funny, and he stopped the jokes when I said I didn't find it funny. He ends our conversations early because his female friend is calling. He talks about showing off his muscles to his female friends and how they compliment him and then claims I don't compliment him enough, despite the fact that I tell him he's handsome, smart, good-looking every day. He compliments other women in front of me and talks about how they have so many similar interests as him. One important thing to mention: I have a diagnosed attachment disorder and very low self-esteem, and he knows this. Given everything, I'm feeling confused, hurt, and kind of dismissed. Should I just cut my losses and break up with him? My husband and I have been married for about 9 months, together for 7 years, and I recently discovered he's been using coke for the entirety of our marriage. Buckle up, because this will be long. About a week after returning from our honeymoon, we found he lost his job. He was understandably devastated, and I was incredibly supportive and empathetic. He initially said he needed a couple days to wallow, and then he'd get to work finding a new job, which I said was perfectly fine. Unfortunately, weeks turned to months, and no matter how many times I brought it up, offered encouragement, and shared opportunities with him, he wasn't putting any effort into looking for work. On top of that, he wasn't doing anything additional to help around the house. I've been paying 100% of our bills, doing all the cooking, nearly all the cleaning, and taking care of our pets. He was waking up at 11 a.m. every day, getting up and showering, moving to the couch, and watching television. I tried communicating multiple times that I need more help, but I never got consistent help. We've always had some issues with how he manages his time with his friends. Even before we got married, he would spend all night at his friend's house, drinking and watching sports, and it was a recurring issue that he wasn't always coming home, stating he was too drunk to drive and either couldn't get an Uber, didn't want to spend the money, or simply fell asleep. This problem got better before we got married, but came up again during his unemployment. There's been multiple times he hasn't come home, and he had a couple really bad nights of drinking during the holidays where he overreacted to things and made mean comments to me. I helped him get temp holiday work, and he finally got a new job in January, and he has been doing great at it. I was so happy, it felt like things were finally getting on track, and I was excited to try and get pregnant. For the entirety of his unemployment, he was trying to get me on board with having a baby, but I held off because I wanted us both to have stable employment. Well, shit blew up a couple weeks ago when I found an empty Coke bag on our bedroom floor. After some panicking and coming to the realization that there wasn't anything else it could be, I opened his bedside drawer to find 4 more empty bags, and then a 6th empty bag in our sheets that must have gotten caught up in the wash. I confronted him the moment he got home, and after trying to sell me lies for 10 to 15 minutes, he finally was honest.